watch this later on anyways. I mean, the main reason I like going live is because one, just gives you a different perspective of what's going on. You know, if you're really serious about doing a bathroom, then you know, sometimes you don't really want to see a fast forward version that looks like it's like nothing. Not that this is like super difficult or anything, it's just I'll just do this. I can always cut this out tomorrow because I honestly don't even know how well that cover fits on here anyways. I might be just cutting this.
Okay, saying the horizontal.
Horizontal is much better.
Sorry guys, it's my fault.
Yeah, if you did that on Instagram, they would be
No.
swearing at it.
No, it would be TikTok. They would be.
Oh yeah. Well, can you? I
Insta-
don't even, yeah, I guess you can go that way.
I don't know. But no, Instagram, or no. Instagram's nicer than TikTok. TikTok's the horrendously mean one. You're welcome.
So even I've got a little bit of lippage here from top below. So that's where this linoleum knife is nice. I can pull this out where I'm not like necessarily pulling it out of the thin set, but I'm just pulling it up a little bit to prevent any type of lippage. What do we got here? 4 1/4.
How do you keep the vertical grout lines so straight?
Oh, it's just a matter of really paying attention to them. I mean, you know, you can definitely use shims in there if you need them. But I mean, you know, it kind of, I don't know, you can kind of just visually see them pretty easily. And what I'm doing is basically starting out with a 3-inch piece over there. So I'm always keeping my half pattern going all the way across. So, I mean, they kind of just all fall in line with one another here. But yeah, just visually, I just like the flexibility of it. Makes it, I don't know, you can definitely use spacers in all of this if you really wanted to. But
Somebody said you have 2mm spacers in your eyes.
Keep on going here.
Should we use a level or a square to check for flatness and if you are square in the corner?
Yes, yeah. In this fashion, it really doesn't really gonna affect anything for me personally because I have a freestanding vanity here. But yeah, you would definitely want to check that. And yeah, I mean, a level definitely isn't a bad idea to go across here and make sure everything's flat. That would make a difference. Now I'm trying to overcome some stuff in the corner there. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a bad idea. But I am kind of beveling out over here because of my corner. So, you know, as long as the wall is flat for the most part, you know, but honestly, this perspective coming in here is really going to be tough to tell one way or the other. But yeah, this could be a problem if you're not square in a corner, especially if you have a vanity going up into that corner there. I definitely have had that problem before. And I'm kind of causing a problem here right now because of what I'm trying to build out here. So, you know, if you have a vanity going straight up to this edge here, you definitely want to try to keep that square so that you don't have to, you know, cut your countertop. That'd be the solution to, you know, doing that enough. You know, sometimes that has to happen. But some of these vanities now, they don't really have tops that have much of an overhang at all. Like you don't even have the ability to scribe cut them anymore. So it all depends on what you're getting. But I don't like the idea that they don't even have, some of these they have like zero overhang on the vanities, and that doesn't give you a lot of fudge room for many different situations, whereas a lot of the older style vanities, you used to get like a good inch overhang, and that was nice so that you can adjust cut things.
Well, vanity that we're using, it's not going up against the wall.
No, it's not. It's all freestanding.
Does the countertop have an overhang though? I don't think.
Yeah, it does. It does on this one. I'm just saying, like the one that we have. I mean, a lot of the Ethan or the what is that called? I want to say Ethan Allen. It's not Ethan Allen. That's higher end.
Pottery barn.
I mean, I don't know. I just noticed a lot of newer vanities. It's like the countertop is flush with the countertop or with the vanity base.
You weren't impressed with the Pottery Barn making and stuff. I installed it though.
No, I had this woman buy, what was it? That was like $1,000.
It was $1,000 vanity.
$1,000 vanity.
Or more even.
And I had gotten some paint or something on it.
Yeah.
And I just used, and I shouldn't have, but I used it anyways. I used like a paint thinner with a rag just to get like the paint off. It took all the finish straight off the cabinet. I mean, it took it right off, like with no effort at all. Like it's like they just spray paint those cabinets or something. It's pretty bad.
What level is or what brand is your level, your laser?
It's a DeWalt. It's a DeWalt. I mean, it's an okay laser. Yeah, some of the things that drive me nuts about it are these dead spots from, you know, so they have some dead spots here because of the way they have the frame on it. But it has its own battery, you know, that you charge. And obviously I've been using this for a really long time. That's why it's a mess. You know, and it has all the different, you know, ways of going about, you know, the plumb line and the horizontal line. But I like the green. It's definitely more powerful. You can see, you know, like we have the window covered with cardboard right now, but I've had problems in the past where, you know, the sunlight comes in through the window and then you can't see the red laser. And so, like I use a lot of like Schluter, and then this Guru membrane or whatever is red. So the green just shows up better, but it's definitely not like a necessity to go green. It's just kind of nicer, but it is an expensive. I mean, the laser is pretty overpriced if you ask me in a lot of ways. I mean, for one, they only give you one battery, so when that thing's dead, I have to wait. I have to charge it and wait. which that's kind of annoying. You know, if you keep it charged at night, it'll last all day. But if you forgot to charge it and it goes dead, then I don't have a laser until it charges up. That's kind of annoying. You know, it's $600. It's kind of crazy.
But you're really tough on your tools, and how long has it lasted?
It's lasted a long time. I'll give it that. I mean, I am very tough on my tools. And the ones that kind of withstand that, I tend to really like, because, you know, these, this Makita has lasted, I mean, my goodness, it's been at least 6 years. These things, unfortunately, I buy one of these almost every year. This is a Milwaukee one. So I would never be a person that's gonna, unless I change things. You know, I'm saying never, because I mean, I wouldn't even, I don't even want to be sponsored by them if I ever were, because I throw so many of their tools away because they don't last. The sawzalls, the blades get broken, you know, where the chuck goes in. The switches go bad. The batteries don't last as long. I mean, I like this grinder. I like the paddle switch, and I'll probably keep buying it because I haven't been able to find a replacement that's really much better. Probably my next one will be Hilti, because the Hilti brand definitely seems to, you know, there's hammer drills and their impacts. You know, I've had that impact for at least 6-7 years. And I've done a lot of houses with it and never had an issue. But the Milwaukee impacts, garbage. I mean, 6 months later, I'm buying a new one. The drills, the regular drills, hammer drills, their chucks break. I'm just not a fan of Milwaukee. I mean, they have a lot of tools that are specific for different things. I am using them, but you know, I'll be pretty upset when I have to buy another one here shortly. So. But Hilti seems to be the ones that really have lasted the longest for me. But even their sawzalls and stuff have kind of crapped out on me too. So.
Well, you are pretty hard on them.
Yeah. Some people, you know, you get kind of trapped into some of these systems too. I mean, it is hard not to buy another Milwaukee tool because I have like 7 or 8 batteries. So it really is kind of tough to switch. And that's why I think some people are just like, I do nothing but the Walt, I do nothing but Makita, and they just stick with it because that's where they have all the chargers and everything. So you kind of get stuck in that vein. But I have really no major patriotic feelings about it.
You have no loyalty, huh?
I have no loyalty for these companies. I really don't. And that's on everything. That's probably why I won't be a sponsored person, because
not if you keep going on like that.
No, I mean, you know, there's a lot of crap that Schluter makes that I don't like and I don't agree with. There's a lot of, like, each one of them has their own thing. They're not all like, I don't know. I just would never tout a certain company for everything because they're not always the best. You know, they do have some great aspects to different parts of it, but they're not all like Schluter. I mean, first one, it's a lot of it's kind of overpriced. The linear drains are awful.
What about the U channel? Somebody just asked the Schluter U channel.
Oh yeah, I mean that's kind of a basic element of the project. So you know, but I wouldn't. If another custom came up with one with a nicer finish, I would go with that. It's not like I feel like Schluter has any superiority over that kind of deal. They're just more available. Like that's kind of a lot of the reasons why you see me use a lot of Schluter is because it is easily available. I can just go to the big box stores and grab it, and people are familiar with it. You know, and I've installed a ton of it. Some of their stuff, like they just, you know, just the fact that I can't use Go board and then use a Schluter pan, that drives me nuts. They know the science is going to work totally fine over Go board. They just don't test it themselves, so they're not going to warrant and they're going to frown upon using anybody else's systems. And I guess that's the way they all are. But I mean, my goodness, if Schluter built a car, like you would never be able to have a warranty on it because maybe that's the way all these other companies are doing that too. I don't know, but you should be able to use some like aftermarket parts and still be within their rule to a certain extent. They should just be able to take care of their warranty on their product and then go aboard takes the other. But that's just the way it works, I guess. All right, so we got towel over here.
Somebody said $600 about your level laser or laser level. He lives in China, and he got a laser level for $50. That would be $50 in America with just 2 batteries from a famous brand in China. The markups from U.S. brands is just bonkers.
Is it really? Yeah, I believe it. It's probably some ways it's all the same stuff, just in a different package, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it's crazy.
Looks like those faucets that you order.
Yeah, I know. I was really amazed by that. We got some, the faucet, you can show them that, the faucet on the bathtub. It has a handheld with it. Yeah, but I mean, it's got all the nice polished or
And you
brushed.
got this off of Amazon. It's from China.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, this is the tub spout for it.
But it's nice and heavy.
Nice and heavy, all metal. You got the hand wand, which that's always been something a lot of people want, is having a handheld with a tub spout and a shower head. This was a really, really affordable way to do it. I mean, $200, was it $250? I think
Yes.
it was. Valve, everything included.
Yeah.
And if I would have went with Kohler or whatever, it would have been easily $1,000. So at the end of the day, this is going to function pretty well. And honestly, the way the valve is installed is really nice. I mean, it was really very simple to install. So. Yeah, and like
Well, even the faucet that you got downstairs for the half bathroom, you said, oh, this was pretty inexpensive, but I just picked it up and it's heavy. I mean,
yeah, it is. It's metal. It's metal.
It's metal.
Yeah, for sure.
Somebody just said, Vic said, Schluter has peel and stick Dietrich heat.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh my goodness. I thought they hissed at that years ago, and now they have their own. Yeah, I was surprised by that.
Why? What do you mean? They were really like.
Oh well, they're just all about thin set application. Their membranes and everything has always been, the thin set method. So, I always felt like the reps and stuff always thought that was a really terrible way to go. And now they have their own peel and stick.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a big fan of the peel and stick, honestly. I mean, it's obviously going to be easier, but
Are you using Ardex now?
unfortunately not. I ran out, and I'm using custom right now. I don't really like it. yeah, I just bought this at the home store. It's just like it's sticky. It's just I don't know, man. I don't really like any of the custom products. I haven't really had much. Definitely, definitely doesn't have the same consistency. That's for sure. Oh, I guess I got a piece here, huh?
I was wondering what you were doing there.
Yeah.
How do you support the tiles above the cutout?
I just put a utility neck blade there. Just this little blade.
Oh, it's a little blade. I don't know if we're focusing on that. Oh, there it is. That's what's holding it.
Yeah. That's what I used to like about the weedy system for tiling, because you can just do that into their board. You don't have to worry about, as long as you don't penetrate all the way through the board, you're still in good shape. So I used to do that all the time, put utility knife blades in there to go over the top of niches or whatever. It was nice. You can't really do that with the membranes or any of the other foam boards, because they're all like, as soon as you penetrate the top, they're compromised.
Right, here's more gossip. Also, Ardux has new shower pans. Their drain has a shark bite-like connection.
Ah!
The rep told me it has some lateral play if the trap isn't lined up well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Lateral plane. I mean, that sounds nice. I have to say, that sounds nice. I don't know how in reality that makes a whole lot of sense, but that would be nice. I mean, I can't tell how many times I've just been that fraction off, and it's just been a real fight. That's interesting. Yeah, so what, Ardix, I believe, did buy Weedy, didn't they? Or they merged somehow in some fashion. I knew that happened.
Where'd you hear that?
That was a while, that was last year sometime, or maybe it was beginning of this year. I'm almost positive. I was, social media and all those people were talking about it. I'm almost certain that Ardix and Weedy are like the same thing now. So it doesn't make sense to me why they would buy them and then make their own pans. So I don't know. Have to see what kind of real deal that really was. But it goes in line with one another. It wasn't really surprising to me because Ardix has. Weedy's like the most expensive waterproofing system that I know of, and Ardix has some of the most expensive thin sets that I know of. So it seems like it would fit pretty well for them. The problem with Ardix, and I would try all their systems, but I just don't know if anybody can get their stuff still. They were all a problem to recommend. I know the towel shop is carrying their thin sets, some of their thin sets, we're not carrying all of it. But I know a lot of people, Midwest or whatever, they just can't get the stuff. 4 1/4. Grab a couple more.
I'll follow you in this time. Yep, in September 2021, Ardix acquired majority stake in Weedy.
Yeah. That's interesting.
We'll come back every time. Oh, he's trying. You don't feel him lurking behind you?
Hubert?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see him.
Anytime you sort that top. Well, I guess because I followed you in there too.
Okay. A couple more rows and we'll be able to get to that border.
Somebody said the tile helper is there. It's like your mascot here. Very smelly. A smelly, lumpy old mascot. Did you keep the original doors in this remodel, or did you replace them?
Yeah, no, they're all original stuff. Yeah, they're all. I mean, they've been painted a million times and there's all types of imperfections on them, but I'm not about to buy all new doors. That's for sure. Yeah, no, I like the old stuff. I mean, even the old trim in this house, it's pretty boogered up from all the painting and caulking, but it still gives a nice look. You know, I guess, my brother does new construction stuff, and I just, I can't, just the cookie cutter new stuff, it's just so boring. I like that old trim, for sure. Yeah, I mean, doing all this wainscoting is kind of crazy doing a home that we're going to sell, but it sure does make it look nicer.
Well, this home only has 1.5 bathrooms.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why we went crazy in here. Made it really nice.
Yeah, this is the first house I ever bought. 2001. Did I say 2001 or 2000? I can't remember now.
I don't know. I can't remember now either. It's been too long.
Yeah, I have to look at the thing again when I bought it. But yeah, I mean, I was 21 when I bought it. I know that. And yeah, it really was pushed me into learning a lot of not just tiling, but everything else, because I was pretty young, couldn't really afford to hire people to do this or that. I mean, we've done a lot of stuff that I would never be doing myself. I mean, I wouldn't, the methods, I just had no clue what I was doing, but it was a good learning lesson to have at home and have to work on it and figure things out. It's one thing I don't think people realize how lucky they are to have YouTube now to be able to figure out some of this stuff, because there really wasn't much out there other than if you're just to work for somebody and get the education on it. But this bathroom I've always hated, and it was always something that I was afraid to get into. When I rented it out, I just didn't care anymore, because I wasn't living there. I mean, it functioned, it just wasn't a nice bathroom. And the tenants usually don't take care of it anyway, so it didn't really matter to me. See, this is going off here too. So the layout was just awful. You know, the window where it was, I kind of blocked over because, you know, in 1910 they didn't exactly have shower heads. It was just a, you know, a clawfoot tub, just a freestanding thing. So the window was blocked off. It made the outside of the house look goofy because you were missing a window. You know, the tub used to be sitting here and then it would block off that window. So the layout just sucked all the way around. So now that we have it completely rearranged, it's definitely going to be a lot nicer feel there. But I mean, there was like 4 layers of bathroom in here. Just one remodel after another, basically.
Somebody asked, what's your take on radiant floor heating versus electrical? And do you need to use any specific tile or compound?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty much from now on, even if it is electric, I'm most likely going to be doing floor level or over it, because I think it makes it easier, and it's easier to tile over, and it makes everything 100% flat. And you know, I mean, these other systems, I've used a lot of Dietrich heat, the mat systems, and it hogs up a lot of thin set, and it's not cheap. And at the end of the day, you're getting the same results. So why spend an extra $500 a page shooter for the uncoupling membrane and spend all that money to put all that thin set to fill it in and then just flow all over it. But as far as heating wise, I honestly don't have much experience with the hydronic. I mean, from with the hooked up to a hot water tank or whatever. Just because most people don't have the ability to have that much space to fill up. So I mean, if you're using 1/2 inch or 3/8 inch PEX, you're talking a good 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch thick of subfloor. So that's a lot more than what most people can afford to do. Now, if you were doing like a basement or something like that, where you can just dig down and do it, then yeah, I would imagine efficiency-wise, you're definitely going to be better off with hydronic. But the electric really isn't that bad. This bathroom we did the floor heat, and what is it, 1 amp or 2 amps per 10 square feet. So it's not like it's going to hog up that much electric.
Another comment, Police State Production says, "Your big inspiration. Thanks for videos helped me remodel my whole bathroom.
Nice.
Tried curbless for the first time ever."
Nice. That's awesome.
And a question, what do you recommend for outside corners? 45-degree cut. I get a lot of chipping and it bothers me, but I also hate metal edges.
We were just talking about that in this bathroom where I'm really kind of tired of seeing the metal edging. I use a lot of it, but I just feel like over the years that's going to be something that people are just like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Very outdated. I think so too. Yeah, I definitely do. Yeah, I mean 45s are pretty much. I mean, it's hard to get some of these fittings, but they don't really have them. Like these are just bull nose, and you have the 6-inch bull nose, and it costs actually quite a bit for them. And then you have the radius bull nose on the recessed niche. Those are nice. But yeah, I mean 45-degree angle. My best. It's hard to do sometimes, but I'm basically just trying to keep the factory edge, and then just using like a grinder blade like this, and then just grinding this down until you like don't touch the edge, but just sand down the back of it. And I think you'd be better off if you had a staggered pattern, you know, where you're doing that. I think you'd be better off just cutting this in half here and then just using like a sand edge, like one of these diamond pads to go over the straight edge. Yeah, I mean the 45s, I mean you try to put that on the wet saw, it almost always chips. So I always try to keep the factory edge there and then just, you know, grind it down with one of these grinding wheels. And then if I have to cut the tile over here, then I just do that with the wet saw and then just use a diamond pad to make that better. But you're better, I mean, that's what everybody's gonna see is that outside corner. And if it's chipped, you can see that a mile away. So, but yeah, porcelain tiles are definitely gonna even be more difficult, and that's where you really have to stay right, you know, on that factory edge and don't touch that edge.
Is porcelain more likely to chip compared to like
Yeah,
ceramic?
I would say so. Most of it is, yeah. Yeah, most of it's definitely going to just a harder, like a harder coating, you know. I mean, it's just definitely gonna. The ceramics are definitely more forgiving.
What about a natural stone?
No, that's not bad. That can the wet saw you can almost do that. Yeah, the wet saw you can almost do on that. I've had all right luck with that. So, especially like travertine and stuff like that. And you can even get, oh, I'm so far off on this. Guess I'll just leave that there. I could just make this grout joint here just a little bit smaller to line up with this. Just keep it there. Yeah, and I mean, they do make a bunch of blades that you can almost kind of like router the edges of stone and polish them up. So like I got these polishing pads that, you know, you can shine things up with. But they, you know, it just goes like on a regular grinder. Just put the pad on there. But you have a lot more flexibility with stone for sure.
Here's a good question. Do you like the Guru membrane?
The what?
The Guru membrane.
I'm hesitating just because it serves its purpose. It's you know.
You worked really hard getting that up though compared to other things
Absolutely.
I've seen you do.
I mean, but Schluter would have been the same thing.
Yeah.
And maybe not. I actually kind of felt that it was a little bit more difficult than Schluter because of the way the membrane was. It was more of a fleece. It had a nice fleece, and that's one of the. You'll even see videos coming out here in the future where I'm demonstrating both, and I actually like the coverage that's on Guru better because it has more of a fleece on the back, but it's not as stiff as the Schluter. So when you're rolling it out, it ended up getting more air gaps underneath of the Guru, and it was more problematic to get all of them out of there. Whereas the Schluter, it's kind of like a wax paper, like a stiffer material, and I never really had air bubbles under that too often. It usually just kind of flows right out. So, you know, it's like, yeah, the membrane of Guru seemed to actually adhere better, but then it was more of a pain in the ass to get it to be flat. So, but honestly, I don't know how many more membrane showers I'll be doing. I just think it's a pain in the ass all the way around. Having to use all the thin set, it's a mess. You have overlap, so you have to overlap all the membranes, and then that creates problems with tiling. Even the corners. I mean, this goes for Schluter or Guru. I don't care what membrane it is. You're overlapping overlapping areas, and it's creating buildup, and it's becoming a problem for your tile. So, you know, I would, you know, that's on my channel. You'll see somebody use Go board so many different times, or Weedy, because I like the sealant application. I can get it flatter. It's really easy to manipulate. If I were to build these niches, these corner niches with Go board, Weedy, or Hydroban board, whatever, foam board, I would have been in and out with that within, half hour for each niche, rather than messing around with all the membranes that cause all this buildup. So I don't see how it's worth it. I mean, Go Board, I could have done this whole shower for $300. Guru was $200 plus the drywall. So when I save $30 for an hour of frustration, so I really don't. I don't like the membranes. That's all I can say. I mean, I think it's a pain in the ass overall. So yeah, I don't think you'll see me do too many more membrane installations unless it's like over a mud bed floor or something that like I have to do it. But even then, I still think going on a liquid membrane would be even easier. For the floor, go with Hydroban like I did on this floor. Like, why even deal with the sheet membranes to a certain extent? I think one of the possible benefits it has is for steam showers. But I've been doing a lot of bathrooms, and I've only come across one steam shower like that. Obviously, the higher end clientele wants that stuff, but I just never really haven't gotten into doing them. And I think that's the only place where the membranes probably have a superior stance, because it's going to be more vapor proof than some of the liquid or foam boards for that matter.
That was a question from Caleb Fugelberg, who said membranes look way more difficult than the Go Board KDR systems you typically use. Love your content. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, you won't see me. You won't see me just doing nothing like Guru. I can tell you that much. Or Schluter. I won't be an ambassador or anything. Yeah, I'm just. I just wanted to try it. I mean, Misha from Winnie Design sent me the product. He's the one. I mean, I never even really. I think I've seen them at the trade shows, the Guru system, but I didn't even know anything about it until Sal and Winnie were using it. And obviously Winnie's the big guru on it. He has 100 million videos on it now. And
he's their spokesperson or their
he's their ambassador.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was curious of what it did, and I don't, but there were a lot of shortages on foam boards all the way around last year. So I mean, still good to know the methods of installing the membrane and having that as a backup plan, I guess.
I liked this comment. VTechus Power said, you are probably the only tile guy doing a 4x4 tile, or this is 6x6 on YouTube or IG.
Yeah, I don't know if that's...
So wait, does that mean like everybody's using those big ass tiles, right?
Probably.
It's the big... I don't know. I don't like that.
I'm trying to bring them back.
Yeah, let's go back. Let's go back to basics, where things won't go out of style in 15, 20 years. Let's keep it timeless.
I don't know. I love the old bathrooms with all the different edging and all the time that it took. I mean, I like the fact that they had all those mud caps and different pieces. It just feels more like everyone gave a shit a little bit more in a way.
It's like artwork.
Yeah, like the manufacturers gave a shit. The tile installer obviously had to spend a little bit more time putting it together. Mm-hmm. Some of these big panels, I don't know. Like, I really don't think I'll ever get into the big panels. Like, there's all these different seminars and different things going about installing these panels, these 5-foot by 10-foot panels, and for one, as a contractor, I mean, maybe commercially it makes a lot of sense, but like residentially, I mean, it just sounds like a lot of risk to me. I mean, and I guess that's why they're doing the training, is so you're not afraid of screwing it up. But it probably would take 3 or 4 weeks to get a piece of whatever you're ordering in. Like, how do you not buy? you know, when you're ordering tile like this, you're always getting 10 to 15% extra. If you have 3 pieces of tile that are going in a shower, like, you're not going to buy another piece. So if you, it just takes a lot of stress to me. I don't really.
There are some large pieces though that are quite beautiful, and I can understand, you know, but
yeah,
it can tend to look pretty harsh.
but they go the way they edge it is the metal edging. That's the way the majority of them are.
How will you finish the tiny space between the door molding and the tiled wall?
Right here.
Yes.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna paint it. You know, I could do another piece of trim up against that. Maybe that's what I will do. I don't know if that's gonna bother me or not. I don't want to put tile there. I think it's just gonna look such a small little sliver. It's only like 3/4 of an inch. Maybe I'll use a piece of I don't know. That's a good question. I've been kind of ignoring that.
No, you're forced to address.
Yeah. You know, when I bought the trim, I put it up and I kind of ignored it at that point. I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have gotten a wider trim where everything butted right up to it, and I didn't. I don't know if I'll use quarter round there, or maybe I'll just get a piece of 1x and make that fill that whole gap in so it looks like it's all one piece of trim. Yeah. I don't know. It depends on how much that bothers me. Tomorrow when I go to Grout and finish that off. I guess I could do tile there. I don't know.
I thought that's what you were gonna do.
I think I should.
I know.
It's behind the dang door.
I know. But I mean, coming from somebody who cleans, you know, bathrooms at home, you see it, so.
Yeah. Okay, so the border, this actually came out really nice because, you know, that's one thing that seemed to change is these mosaics on the thicknesses. Like a lot of the newer stuff is a heck of a lot thinner than the tile, but in this instance it was basically the same thickness, so that really did kind of make it nice and easy. So I can just basically tamp that into place. It's only 2 rows too, so it's not like it's an enormous amount of tile. I do need to feather this part out because that's the way But there's a lot of different methods of embedding your mosaics. And I mean, one of my favorite is to set it on a piece of Purdy membrane and then just set them into place, because then you can build up the tile or the thin set underneath of the Purdy band. But on this little tiny deal, we're going to be able to just tamp them in place. So I'm just trying to keep the thin set layer even because my wall isn't exactly straight or flush here. So. And we'll see. I'm used to using Ardex for this, so I guess we'll see what this custom does for me here.
Ooh.
Where is?
You had the mosaic.
Oh dear.
You're messy, honey.
Oh, there it is.
When calculating final floor or wall thickness, how much do you add for thin set between layers?
Usually an 1/8 inch, typically. Depending on the size tile, I mean, I would go a little bit thicker than that. I mean, I would say 1/4 inch for bigger tiles. But for this stuff, 1/8 inch typically. So I mean, I always, you know, if you're referencing for your valve or whatever, I always say 1/2 inch backerboard plus 1/2 inch with your tile. So the tile's 1/4 inch, you know, man. So I guess I'm technically adding a 1/4 inch for the thickness of the thin set. But you know, if you're like we did the membrane over this drywall, so we had the membrane and then the tile. So it really was 1 inch by the time I was done overall for the thickness. But typically smaller tiles like this, it's really only going to be a 1/4 inch or a 1/8 inch thick, really, depending on, you know, like the way I floated this out, some of the areas are actually thicker. So this blade does pretty good on glass, just because it doesn't, it's diamonds all the way through, so you cut it pretty easily. I'll float somewhere.
There's a thing setting a valve depth today.
What's that?
The person who asked that, Lotrius, they're setting a valve depth.
Yeah, I would just account for 1 inch. That's usually the easiest way to go. And then most of these valves have variance, so you don't have to be completely 100% accurate. I mean, where I guess you do have to be accurate though is some of these valves with the ports for the tub spout or the handheld and stuff like that. That's where knowing that embedder is more. But you know, the other type of membrane, or you know, like the waterproofing system, account for that as well. So I mean, if you're doing like go board, then it's just a 1/2 inch straight up. But if you're doing the membranes, you better add another 1/8 inch and make that a 1/4 inch thin set layer, because it's going to add up on the membranes.
How many sheets did you use of the tiles here?
Not much, like I think this third.
Was it your third sheet?
Yeah.
So I can return the others then.
Yeah. So these are, yeah, I mean, these are the same size as the tile, but a couple other ways to go about this is to, you could use Schluter, Tetra. This is kind of popular, especially if you had like 12 by 24s or something like that. This usually, Tetra usually works really well for stuff that is the same thickness, because behind 12 by 24s you're gonna have a good 1/4 inch of thickness of thin set. So this really bumps it out nicely, this 1/8 inch. The other way is to use strips of Curdy. They make it in Curdy band. This is actually really ideal for those membrane or the borders that are really, really thin. So adhere them to this the night before, and then you can just basically thin set it in like a piece of tile, and you don't have to worry about it coming through the joints. But in this particular situation, it wasn't really problematic to align this properly. So I just went with making the thin set layer work for it.
Here's some more news from Vic. John Mansville said they're coming out with itch-free go board.
Itch-free. There's not many people complaining about it, I guess, huh? It is actually, it is kind of awful. It is kind of awful. I do kind of, yeah, I think I'll be buying that. It's fine.
This comment's funny. I can guess the homeowner's bathroom's age by the tile style and color. about 50 years old and conservative. Probably with a technical background.
Really? You might have to quote that one.
I know.
Really?
That's right.
I guess you can see all that, Phil.
That comment was made by something Putin is
Oh, jeez.
mafia state. See? Something. It's funny though.
We're not 50 yet.
How old are you turning, huh?
44, I guess. Close enough, huh?
Okay, Caleb just asked, did you finish your flip house?
This is it, man.
This is it.
I'm almost there.
Oh.
Carpet next Thursday. I still got the half bathroom to do downstairs.
But it's not near.
No, but
Yes.
there's a lot wrong with it, and I'm dreading all the stuff I have to change down there. Because
Yeah, quite honestly, all the bathrooms in this house were awful.
honestly, people should be afraid to buy some of these old homes around here with the way the condition of these bathrooms are. I mean, they just have no idea. You know, I mean, we were able to see down into the foyer here. We tore everything down to ripped out the entire floor, and it had to be done because there was water structural damage to the floor and everything. So I mean, people are buying these homes, and the appraisers don't know what the heck's underneath the tile. They don't know what's.
Or nor do the home inspectors, really.
No, they don't. No, they don't. They can't. How could they? I mean, they need to have to rip it apart to really see how bad it really is. So, I mean, to pay somebody to do all of this would be insane. I mean, I got to figure out the exact cost of what I would charge, but it's probably upwards $25,000. Just because the level of, doing all this tile work is somewhat unnecessary, but this is a costly part of it, but it all adds up.
That's why I never understood people who buy fixer-uppers or flip homes and they can't do the work themselves.
I don't see how you make any money.
I don't get it.
I really don't. I mean, maybe last year and the year before were pretty easy, it seemed. The interest rate just dropped down to nothing and everything increased a ton of money, but...
No, about house flipping. What do you think about tile painting?
Tile painting. Yeah, I mean, there's an epoxy that I would say would probably work really well. I've seen some flips that's been done. I mean, the cheap spray-on shit, I mean, they look good for sale, and they don't last. I mean, I'm not really up for not making something that lasts, but there's some good epoxies out there that would definitely last a long time. But it's hard for me to get behind that. I'm going to refinish a top here soon. One of the cast iron ones we took out, I'll demonstrate, but I would have a hard time doing a full towel job with that. I don't know.
Oh, you mean the one we have in the garage? That one?
Yeah. And since we're out of here, that'll be probably a winter project.
Yeah. But you can use that in Mark's bathroom in the basement.
You should. No, I'm doing a walk-in shower down there.
Oh, you were gonna sell that one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sell it. I'm just gonna demonstrate it. Because I do think it's a great, some of these vintage tubs, I think it's definitely worth doing it. But yeah, I mean, flipping, is that an alternative? Absolutely. I think it definitely can make some of these green or blue bathrooms, I mean, we're doing green here, but it definitely make it look a lot nicer.
Somebody mentioned that the tile above the hole looks like it moved.
I'm not sure if it did that.
I think that they're looking out for you, honey.
Sure did, didn't it?
Just have Hubert come in here and hold it.
Alright, so now we gotta get a piece here. So on this guy, well, let me just get the 3-inch piece first. But really, we're only on Instagram doing this.
Good. I can't anymore with the large format tiles, Steve. I just can't.
There's a reason all that metal edging exists.
When did that come out, the metal edging?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's been around for a long time. I don't think it really became.
Did we use that at Amsler Ridge? Did you use that in our bathroom?
No, that was all edging pieces.
You did it in the
Oh,
niches.
no, it was a ridge, yeah, but not.
In the niches you did.
Yeah.
Not the boys' bathroom. It's in our bathroom though.
is. These are really, $4 a piece for a piece of bull nose. That's like one piece of Schluter would be whatever, $12.
Well, you get what you pay for, though.
I guess. Why he would say this would be someone who's a mechanic or mechanically. Did you say mechanically?
Don't. It's a technically. Let me see. With a technical background.
With a technical background. He's probably practical and it's quality.
It's quality. So from a business standpoint, are curbless showers worth it? Looks like way more effort and time.
It is. Business standpoint, no. There's too many areas that it can turn into a harder project than you expect it to be. And you can't if you want to be competitive in any Sebastian, you're always going to compare it to the worst job you ever did as far as how much time it took to do. The framing aspect of it's always a question mark. There could be a can light for the kitchen in the wrong area and you can't recess the floor. There could be plumbing that is too high up and you can't get it to work right. There's a lot of different situations, especially on a second floor of a home where, it's just, you're fighting yourself on it. And it definitely takes a lot more time. It's definitely an extra day. If I were, and at the end of the day, obviously for wheelchairs and stuff like that, I could see where that has to be, But when it comes to aging, so most of the time a curb is usually not an issue, and you can make sure that you lower that curb, make it 3 inches. Don't make it 4 inches.
Some people as they get older though, honey,
It's true, but I don't know. I just feel like the curbless would be the best option for people like that, but I just don't know. He's asking whether it's a business strategy to go out and get curbless showers. I don't know if I would want to be the guy known for doing nothing but curbless showers. I just think you're going to have a harder time making money with that in some aspects, just because of the complexity with the framing, and then having to let the client know that hey, I can't get this to work without raising your floor height or do this or do that, and then it becomes kind of complicated with it. And then you still have the aspect of water containment. You're always relying on shower doors, but you're really relying on, you can stop that now too.
Oops, in the bathroom. There's that bathroom stairs.
No, but you're really relying, what was I saying about that? The curbless showers. Yeah, you're just really relying on the project to be a normal situation where you can recess things. So, if I were to really try to get, the higher end that I went, the harder it became to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I got the $50,000 bathroom jobs, or somewhere close to 60. But I spent so much more time there, just because the intricacies of the installations of whatever they were getting. Sometimes there'd be other contractors doing different things, and it would just prolong my involvement. And the longer that you're held by that paycheck, the more requests that are given of you over time. So, if I were to attack business, I would be just trying to take out tubs and putting in walk-in showers. I just don't know if I would try to sell them on curbless showers because of the complexity of what's usually involved. Unless you know, you're in a neighborhood where, hey, I've done it here and I know that each one of these I can do just the same. But I would be attacking just trying to get to be the guy that takes out a tub and puts in a walk-in shower. You know, and obviously some of these older homes, that's, you know, for the longest time, I would not do a job if I wasn't gutting it down at the studs, because of these older homes were such a mess, and it would be so much more difficult just to change out the showers in some circumstances than to just do the whole damn thing and completely redo it. So for the longest time with the older homes, the 1940s, 1950s homes, I'd be like, it has to be gutted or I'm not even involved with the project. Now the 80s, the 70s and 80s, that's the area that I would try to possibly, or in the 90s too. I mean, I would try to get those and replace those fiberglass showers and put in, or fiberglass tub surrounds and put, because you could really make some serious money doing that. Because it's just simple. I mean, it's taking out the fiberglass, get the waterproof. You could pretty much get the waterproofing in, the valve in, and everything done in one day. Towel it. You know, in some circumstances, you can towel it in one day, and then third day you're out of there. And the curbless is definitely going to add on another day. And I just don't know. You know, it depends on where you are and what you can charge. But you know, for me, my upgrade was only $1,000 for a curbless shower. And, you know, it can get, you know, a lot of materials and time can be eaten up in that time frame. I would much rather have done a tub to shower conversion on a newer home for, you know, $5,000 and be out in 3 days. It'd be a lot easier work. You know, you're not even working full days either. I mean, I could pretty much remove one of the, if I wasn't videoing, I could just remove it and put the waterproofing system in you know, half a day and not be sweating too much over it. So that's a long-winded answer, but you know, I just found it was just weird because I was really excited. I always wanted those you know, $50,000-$60,000 bathroom jobs, thinking that was going to be, you know, I made it, you know, it definitely helped out my portfolio. You know, it got my website and everything else to look amazing. But, you know, I think if you ask most high-end contractors, kitchen and bath, anybody who's doing like even like high-end closets, they're just, I don't know, they're not making the money that you think they're making, and it's harder to keep up with some of those people. So, you know, there's a lot of demand, especially for the boomer generation, to change out tubs and put in walk-in showers. And I would just do a standard shower. Oh, I was going to say the curbless showers. The other issue is water containment. You're always relying on shower doors, no matter what system you're in. But it sometimes can be a little bit more problematic keeping the water in on a curbless shower. And that's the other thing. Curbless showers, you better make sure that your outside floor is level or is definitely higher than the curbless shower area. I always try to achieve the outside floor at least being an 1/8 inch higher. So whether you use Detra, go over top of it, or floor level it. You know, I don't really like it to be completely flat flush, because a lot of times outside of the floor area, even like in this instance, I'm lower on this end of the bathroom. And if this was a curbless shower, you know, water could migrate through the thin set layer, which you should avoid doing. You should caulk the tile to the waterproofing to eliminate that. But you know, you really want the outside floor to be just slightly higher to make sure that there isn't any water flow. Now I'm just saying that because of personal experience. I've gotten a call back on a shower that I did, and it took, what is it, 2 years? 2.5 years? And it was a shower that I used every single day, so it's like, it was bizarre to me that it even happened, but there was water outside of the shower because it was a huge bathroom, and it was, you know, kind of bellowed in the middle. So because it's this like newer home with shitty framing, and you know, so things weren't completely level outside, and water got through the thin set layer and kind of siphoned through capillary water movement, and it just filled, you know, kept coming out of the shower and into the outside floor area. Some of it had to do with the pan system I used. The weep pools were very, very small, and they must have clogged. So over time, water just kept pulling out. And when I walked in their bathroom, water was coming out of the grout joints in the middle of this bathroom. So all I had to do was make sure that I got the weep pool system to work fine. I took out the grout around the shower and I caulked everything down to the, used silicone to the waterproofing, and that eliminated any migration coming through. But that was a learning lesson, because I should have paid attention to the dip in the floor outside. I should have made sure that everything was higher or level, so I didn't have an issue with that. So, but that took 2 years. It took 2 years before there was ever an issue. And that's one thing about bathrooms is, you do, and most contractors or most homeowners do kind of have this expectation of warranty on their installation. So if you did a roof, you're probably getting a call back 5 years later if your roof leaks. And they feel that same way with bathrooms. But unfortunately, there's so many different things in bathrooms that you can't really warrant everything. Like a caulking joint around a tub, I'm not going to warrant that for 5 years. But when it comes to doing these higher end, like curbless showers, that was my fault. I had to I had to fix that, because that should have never even happened. So I just feel like it's sometimes a bit of liability, and there's just more areas to go wrong with it. So, all right, well, that takes care of that. I got one little more piece to put here, but that was just kind of a short demonstration of some of the towel tools and the different things that I use. Definitely check out my Amazon store. You can check out all the tools I have under there, and towel tools. My courses, if you're interested and you want more guidance, most of my videos, I do speed up a lot of this, smaller detailed stuff. I do try to fully explain each detail in succession of remodeling a bathroom. So check out my courses. Those links are down below as well. See you in the next one. Thanks, guys.